following is a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about them Cowboys?
This is Mick Shots.
Streaming live on DallasCowboys.com and the official Dallas Cowboys app.
Now, here are Bill Jones, Everson Walls, and Mickey Spagnola.
And it is a Cowboys Wednesday as the Cowboys back on the practice field as we speak, getting set to take on the Los Angeles Chargers, 3:25 Dallas time on Sunday. Bill Jones with Mickey Spagnola here inside the SWBC Mortgage Studios at the Star in Frisco. And Everson Walls at a remote location somewhere where the sun is shining on Everson's face. Hello, Everson.
Hello.
All right, Mickey.
It's kind of a first normal week we've had, right? Somewhat normal.
It was normal until Everson had to leave town. And
yeah.
So now we're back to 1/3 of us is at a remote location, but at least we can see Everson. And
I wasn't referring to us. I was referring to the Cowboys on a regular week. For practice, although they had the extra, 3 days after the game.
That's right. So it's just
Thursday.
now to a regular week, starting today through Sunday, and then next week's not a regular
then
week
it's
again
irregular.
Because the home opener is a Monday night game against Philadelphia, so they get an extra day next week. And it is great, though, to see the team out on the practice field.
Yes, absolutely. As a matter of fact, they just finished up their practice today, and it was a full practice. They did team drills. They had the scout team going, and then we can go on with all the roster. What's the word? Machinations.
Oh, nice.
How about that, huh? Vocabulary's improving in old age.
We just don't know what it means, but it sounded good.
I've always been. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Can you hear me?
Yeah. Can you hear us?
Hello.
I don't think he hears us. We see ya.
Everson cannot hear us, apparently. Oh, okay. Everson's going to fix whatever is.
Can you guys hear me?
I hear you, Everson. He can't hear us. All right. So how about we figure out what's going on with this roster then,
Yes.
Mickey?
Let's take a look at it. So we know.
Do we start at right tackle?
We start at right tackle. We know La'el Collins has been suspended 5 games. From a little bit of digging I've done, it sounds like it's going to be 5 games. We talked about his agent saying it was still in the appeal process, but it sounds like he doesn't have much of a chance for the appeal. And another thing that I think is starting to get cleared up, if you listen to what Jerry said yesterday, it wasn't from so much missed tests as it was, and Jerry said it, sometimes it's cooperation with the process, and so it's sounding like it might be something like that, because not only do you have to test, but whatever counseling you're supposed to go through, you have to show up for those too, and you get negative marks if you don't show up for those. So I don't know if that had something to do it, but Jerry's point was there's counseling that takes place also. So it's an entire process. So it looks like he probably is going to miss at least this game, if not 5.
Okay, so we've sort of established that. Now, I chatted with Mike McCarthy on taping of his coach's show last evening, and you tell me if he said anything much different from this at his press conference today.
I'm going to say no.
He indicated that Zach Martin is staying at guard,
yes,
and that it is Terrence Steele or Ty Nsekhe who would be starting at right tackle.
And that's about what he said in his press conference today, even though Jerry Jones on Tuesday said when he was asked the question, it's going to be Steele. He didn't mince words, but, I'm sure from McCarthy's standpoint, he doesn't want to give the Chargers a scouting report.
He wants to make sure they got to go through practice,
but if it's those two guys, to me, if you're not moving Zach out there, and we can talk about his reasons for maybe not doing that, then I think it's Steele. I think he's more versatile, more mobile, maybe not as strong, not as big. But I think I pointed this out yesterday. If it is Steele over there, then the tight end better be in his hip pocket. And I'm not saying you got to have two tight ends on the field all the time, but I think you have to make an adjustment. You have to make a concession that if Steele's out there and Joey Bosa's across from, you can't let Joey Bosa ruin this kid that came into the league as an undrafted rookie. Now, he started 14 games last year. I think he made great strides in the offseason. I pointed out yesterday that he was one of the 10 guys that won the workout award in the offseason. And if you look at what happened during training camp, he was playing both sides. He started on the right. He ended up on the left as the backup. So to me, that tells me that they had more confidence in him than the veteran Nasecki, who you would think would be for sure can play the right side, but they got to let him work on the left side. Well, they switched that up towards the end of training camp. So from McCarthy's standpoint, he still say we're working on the combination, but it sounds like the combination is Steele and Secchi. And, last week he was on the injury report, by the way, for a day or so. And he missed time in training camp. So to me, it's probably Steele, and then they'll go from there and see what happens. So now you ask, why won't they move Zach Martin out there?
Okay, I'll ask that. Why won't they move Zach Martin out there?
And I was a proponent of it too, right?
Yes, you were.
And McCarthy answered that question today, basically saying that with Zach at guard, he can give help to the tackle and communication type stuff, and he can help the center too, who's basically in his first full year of starting. I know he started like four or five games last year before he got hurt.
So this is his sixth NFL start.
So, yes.
Tyler Biadasz.
So now you got Zach in the middle there, and he can help out there. And I think so. Coming off COVID, he hasn't practiced in more than, not 10 practice days, but 10 days since he was on COVID reserve. And who knows, you may think, I better bring him back and put him someplace initially where it's comfortable with, and then see if we can compensate for not having La'el Collins on the outside by using our tight ends and the running back to help him out in pass protection.
Well, if you go back and look at Washington last week, and they had a rookie, Sam Cosmi, at right tackle, and boy, Bosa just flies off the screen at you. I mean,
right.
you can tell that he's the guy you got to be worried about.
Did they give him help?
There were times that they did not give him help. That he
paid
came,
the price,
and he came pretty hard off that edge.
Yeah.
So.
And and they're in a 3-4. But if you go three wide receivers, or even if he's playing linebacker in that 3-4, he's still lining up the line of scrimmage, and he's coming, right? And he's a load. So yeah,
they were in a lot of four-man front. When you're going with your
nickel.
Three wide receiver set, he's in a four-man front,
right.
and they move him around. But I saw him; he seemed to be most effective coming from a left defensive end against the rookie right tackle from Texas, Sam Cosmi. So
he's going to go up against another tackle that
not a rookie anymore, but yeah,
played his college ball in Texas.
That's right,
Texas Tech.
Yep. So anyway, otherwise, as far as practice goes.
So we know Randy Gregory has been placed on reserve COVID, so he's not out there, and we'll see where that happens. But again, I can see Everson now.
Yeah, Everson has reappeared on the screen.
I wonder if he can hear us.
Hey, he can hear us now.
He can hear us.
I can hear you.
All right.
Yes.
All right.
So what's the deal with Gregory? He has an opportunity to play, right?
Well,
he does have an opportunity to play.
It may be slim, yeah, but so I think they have to operate now as if they're not going to have him. That means And McCarthy mentioned it today, more snaps for Dorrance Armstrong. They'll need him to step up. More snaps for Terrell Basham.
Opportunity to play than Zach Martin, correct?
Say that again?
He will have a better opportunity to play and come off the list than was it Zach Martin had, correct?
You mean off the COVID list? Yeah, last week. He does, but again, as McCarthy said today, normally when we've had guys test positive, it's been a 10-day period, not a 5-day period. So I think going forward, they have to assume they're not going to have him, which means, you've got at least 3 guys. I mentioned Dorrance Armstrong, Terrell Basham, Bradley and I can play there. Brett Urban could probably go out there if they needed him to. And then, and you better keep DeMarcus Lawrence on the field, right? Because now you're starting to get a little thin. Going up against a quarterback, you better get pressure on him. I think seems to be like there's this sense of relief out there that, okay, we survived Tom Brady. I know we lost, but it was close. Well, this kid is pretty darn good. You better be careful with him. So we'll see how they fill that defensive end spot on the right side. Why is it always the right side, the right tackle, the right defensive end?
I thought D-Law played extremely well in the ball game. Of course, we all bring up that they had no pressures necessarily. They didn't have any sacks. But we know how that goes with Brady. If you don't cover him down the field, then yes, you're going to have issues stopping him from throwing the ball on time. But D-Law was all over the field, and he was trying to make things happen. You could see there was a sense of urgency in his game, and you could see that he's playing with a healthier body now. You can see that was the whole DeMarcus Lawrence in the ball game. I think he'll play pretty well this season. I'm predicting right now, like Barkley says, I guarantee. I guarantee D-Law is going to get 2 sacks this weekend.
We're going to have to write that down.
2 sacks this weekend
Put the
against
memo
Justin
pad.
Herbert.
2 sacks this weekend.
Well, he was the one that forced that fumble, wasn't he?
Yes.
In the game?
Yes.
And it was a violent fumble hit, whatever.
Forced fumble,
yeah.
He punched it out.
Yeah. And then one other thing in practice, Donovan Wilson, they held him out, aggravated his groin that had been bothering him prior to the start of the season. So we'll see where that one goes. And Nashawn Wright, for personal reasons, had to miss practice.
And to Everson's point about DeMarcus Lawrence, okay, we've talked about the Cowboys' issues at right tackle and replacing Lyle Collins. Well, the Chargers have their own issues at right tackle with Brian Bulaga, their starter, who has a back issue. And, in fact, he came out of their opener against Washington. He played 45 plays. They had 81 plays on offense. He was in there for 45, had to come out of the game. And Storm Norton replaced him at right tackle. And so that is basically who DeMarcus Lawrence is going to be going up against.
It's a push.
It would appear. Right. And so I think that's a great prediction on your part, Everson. I don't know if you were aware of the fact that they've got their own issues at right tackle.
I was not.
And
it didn't matter who was going to be out there. D-Law's going to get his number.
And they've sort of remade their offensive line.
And Rashawn Slater,
first-round pick
out of Northwestern, who a lot of people around here were thinking that the Cowboys might be interested in taking in the first round. He's looked really good early on in preseason and in their first game also.
And did they acquire the center this year, or was he there last year?
Corey Linsley, yes, this year. Green Bay.
Green Bay, right?
Paid a lot of money for to get him and their right guard as well as an unrestricted free agent signing from Pittsburgh.
His name?
Matt Feeler.
Matt Feeler, not familiar with him. Familiar with Corey Linsley, and I'm sure McCarthy is too, right?
That's right. And he's familiar with Brian Bulaga as well, of course, who once upon a time, that's going back 11 years ago, was a first-round draft pick of the Packers. So So it's not just the Cowboys that are having problems with their offensive line. Sometimes you got to look at that other side, and so it's. I love the matchup of quarterbacks though this week. Dak versus Justin Herbert, and we'll get into more of that when we come back here on Mick Shots in just a moment.
Honey, big news.
Gary, are you okay?
Oh, I'm not Gary anymore. I'm Jackie Flash.
What?
See, I want the latest smartphone, but the best deals are only for new customers. So, to get a new customer deal, I changed my name to Jackie Flash.
Okay, but the best smartphone deals at AT&T are for everyone, new and existing customers.
That's huge. Then guess who's getting a deal?
Is it Jackie Flash?
Jackie Flash.
It's not complicated. At AT&T, our best smartphone deals are for everyone. Restrictions apply. Visit att.com for details.
The Cowboys way, where 16 Hall of Famers and 5 championships shows us what success looks like. Where turkey is always the second best part of Thanksgiving Day. Where we are all defined by one single thing, the star. Where we as fans know it's our job to keep the tradition going. Bank of America is proud to be the official bank of the Dallas Cowboys and to support the quest of living life the Cowboys way. Copyright 2020, Bank of America Corporation.
Hey, Cowboys fans, ready to spice up your next watch party? Bring Yo Quiero guacamole and be the game day hero. Yo Quiero means I want, and we know you want great, fresh-tasting, ready-to-serve guacamole for your home gating and tailgating events. Made with real avocados and the perfect blend of spices, it will be the star of any party. You can find us at your local Albertsons or Tom Thumb in the deli section. If you can't find it, talk to your store manager and tell them, Yo Quiero guacamole.
It's game day. You know what that means. First, kebab prep. Steak, pepper, onion, steak, pepper, onion. Next, a counterclockwise lap around the room. Now the lucky grease-stained jersey goes on. And lastly, the dance. You know the one. This is a game day ritual no matter where you are. Whether you're traveling to the game or watching from your favorite vacation spot, book a place to stay on Hotels.com and keep the tradition alive and well. Hotels.com, proud partner of the Dallas Cowboys.
Back to Mick Shots.
Check out the new Miller Lighthouse located outside of AT&T Stadium where Dallas Cowboys game day traditions are born. Enjoy yard games, Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders performances, beer gardens, and more. For more information, visit attstadium.com/Miller Lighthouse. Miller Lighthouse, your tailgate just got jealous. Great place to watch the game on Sunday afternoon, 3:25 kickoff, the Cowboys and the Chargers. And I can only imagine what it will be like for the home opener Monday Night Football a week from Monday against the Philadelphia Eagles. Mickey stepped out for a second. He's working on some late-breaking news, perhaps, Everson. We shall see. But Everson, let's...
Mickey's on it.
That's right. Until Mickey gets back, because I know he wants to talk about the quarterback matchup. Let's talk about the receivers for the Chargers for just a second here and the challenge it presents for the Cowboys DBs going up against a guy like Keenan Allen, who is 6'2", bigger guy, and he's averaged 100 receptions a season the last 4 years. And then they also have Mike Williams, a 6'4" target, who caught a nice back shoulder touchdown from Herbert against Washington in the season opener. And so those and factor in Jared Cook, the big tight end as well, who's still going strong at age whatever he is, over age 30. And there's some big targets that Herbert has to throw to.
Well, you know, when I think of the tight end that you mentioned, you know, he always looked like a veteran, even when he was younger with the Saints. You know, he always looked like a guy. He runs like Billy Joe Dupree.
Yeah,
you know, he's got that old man run, right? But he's got the great hands, if you recall Green Bay game, right? Am I right? The Green Bay game where he kind of put him in field goal range.
Don't bring that up.
Oh, my goodness. Don't get, So that's what this team has, a quarterback that throws an extremely catchable ball. When you look at how he lays it in there, it's like Danny White used to throw it a little bit. He has a little bit more oomph on it, and his timing is a little better. But he is a quarterback that's going to put it in there where it's supposed to be. Now, as a DB, you like those kind of quarterbacks because you know they're going to put it in there. So if you cover the guy, you got yourself a pick. because he's going to go on timing. He's going to do a lot like Brady does, but their passing game deals more with a deeper 7-step drop than you would see coming from Tampa. The Cowboys are going to have to deal with, in the secondary, Keenan Allen, who is their Amari Cooper. This guy's an amazing route runner. You talk about the 100 receptions, 4 years. That is, I can't remember how many people have done that. It's got to only be a handful of people that can say that they've done that. So this team is very accomplished in its passing game. I think if we're going to have any opportunity, we still have to play the way we have to play. Shut down that run. Still got to shut the run down. And I think we should take our chances as far as the passing game is concerned. I think we have a few more playmakers in the secondary. I like the 4 turnovers we had, and yes, the fourth one was a Hail Mary, at the end of the half, but we still did well with that. We are a more opportunistic defense now. I truly believe that, and I think we're still gonna have problems with their passing game. I'm just worried about make sure we stop that run.
And here's what those 3 receivers we talked about did last week against Washington. Jared Cook had 5 catches for 56 yards. Mike Williams had 8 catches for 82 yards and that touchdown. And Keenan Allen, 9 catches for 100 yards.
So why did they only score 20 points?
They turned the ball over. There was an interception in the red zone. There was a freaky fumble that should have been an incomplete pass. Herbert was back to pass, throwing for the left corner of the end zone, got hit, and they ruled it a fumble on the field. And I guess there wasn't enough evidence to show that he still had control of the ball as he released it, and so they kept it as a fumble recovered by Washington. Otherwise, so a couple of red zone turnovers is what cost them a lot to keep their score down last week.
So speaking of Herbert, I started looking at the Chargers release. You want a few Mick shots on him?
Yeah. An early Mick shot here.
Let's go.
In the past 5 starts dating back to last season, Justin Herbert has led the Bolts on 4 game-winning drives in the fourth quarter or overtime. In last week's game at Washington, the Chargers converted 14 of 19 third downs. The 14 third down conversions were the most by any team in the last decade in a single game. This is with Herbert at quarterback. Remember, he was Offensive AP Rookie of the Year last year. Third down passing touchdowns since the start of the 2020 season. Tied for first place with Tom Brady is Justin Herbert. Third down passing rating 100 attempts since the start of the 2020 season. Herbert is 5th at 102.5 on third down. And passing yards leaders first 16 career starts in pro football. Patrick Mahomes threw for 5,100 yards. And second, Justin Herbert, 4,675. So this guy is kind of the real deal. And I thought the thing that Mike McCarthy said about him that stuck out to me, because of the length of their wide receivers, you have to consider their wide receivers always open, because you can throw the ball up on them even if they're covered, and they'll come down with the football. So just know that while I'm sure everybody out there is kind of going, we almost survived Tom Brady. Well, this guy's pretty darn good, too. Just doesn't have the same experience.
All right, so how long have we thought that Justin Herbert is this type of quarterback?
Well, I know one person that thought about him this well a long time ago.
Same person who said a lot of good things about Troy Aikman when he scouted him coming out of UCLA some 32 years ago now?
Absolutely. And you think we
can... A Hall of Famer?
We can hear
Gil
that?
Brandt.
Yes.
So this is Gil Brandt from when?
2018 on the Cowboys Legends radio show with 2 guys named Bill Jones and Mickey Spagnola.
All right, let's take a listen to what Gil Brandt was saying about Justin Herbert
before
3 years ago, before
drafted.
anyone had even heard of Justin Herbert, unless you're an Oregon Duck fan.
And I'll tell you what, the best quarterback I've ever seen is a junior at Oregon by the name of Herbert. And the interesting thing about it is he went to school. He was not recruited by anybody except Mountain West. He threw 2 touchdown passes last week by Mountain West team, or not Mountain West, Big Sky teams. And his father went to Oregon State. His mother went to Oregon State, but his grandfather went to Oregon. And the grandfather's name was Schwab. He was there in 1963. I remember him. and
Charles Schwab.
This guy I think is going to be unbelievable.
Justin Herbert.
Justin Herbert. He's like 6'5", 240 pounds, and he runs about 4.6.
Oh my!
Wow.
And you know what? After Gil told us that, I remember specifically making a point to go watch an Oregon game when it was on television to see what this guy was all about. And my reaction then, as I was there, oh my, he was pretty darn good.
All right, and Herbert's grandfather, not Charles Schwab, but Rich Schwab, played receiver at Oregon in the 1960s, and that's why Gil remembers him. So Gil scouted him too back in the 60s. And Justin Herbert also grew up, according to his Wikipedia page anyway, we can always believe this,
absolutely.
Right? He grew up a San Diego Chargers fan, even though he grew up in the state of Oregon. He graduated from Oregon with a degree in biology, and this tells you how smart this Justin Herbert is. He was awarded the 2019 William V. Campbell Trophy, which is considered the academic Heisman. So there you go.
So, by the way, and Everson, this is specifically for you. The reason I was late coming back in, I wanted to go out and see who the interviews were with. They were supposed to be with CeeDee Lamb, Ezekiel Elliott, Zach Martin, and DeMarcus Lawrence. Well, Dorrance Armstrong's coming out for DeMarcus Lawrence. And that just kind of raised my antennas of, I don't know. So we need to pay attention to see if it's just he decided not to come out and do that or if something took place in practice.
Uh-oh, I hope that's not the case.
So I think they finished the other 3 interviews and they were waiting for Dorrance Armstrong to come out.
It may have just been a veteran's decision by D-Law that he wasn't going to.
He might have looked where the cameras and the microphones were set up and goes, "No, that's too far for me to walk."
Dorrance, it's your turn today.
Yeah, you get out there. You get out there, young pup.
So this Justin Herbert guy, first of all, 6'5". Is he 6'5"? He doesn't look 6'5" on the field.
Was he like 6'7"?
He looks smaller. He looks smaller. He almost looks a little slight. So I'm very surprised to hear that from Gil and from you, Spagnola.
He is.
And the other thing is, thank God he's young now. Thank God he's young now.
Yeah,
because he does throw some errant passes because the guy's full of confidence. You know, talk about how smart he is.
I can do anything. Yeah.
Yeah, and he's feeling himself, and he's got that pass-happy offense, which is great for him. I'm sure that's why he likes San Diego. He probably has some memories of Fouts or somebody, Phillip Rivers, out there chunking that rock in the backfield. I mean, that's kind of a quarterback's dream, and he probably knows he's got the same intellect as those 2 previous guys I just mentioned.
Well, actually,
he will throw it in there.
On their roster, he isn't 6'5". He's 6'6".
And from the scouting combine, he measured the scouting combine official measurement for Justin Herbert. Not only 6'6", he's 6'6" and a quarter. 236 pounds.
Wow. That he does not look that big.
Do you think he plays hunched over or something? He doesn't stand up tall in the pocket?
I would. If I saw him, I really thought he was around DiNucci's size. I'm not gonna lie. I thought he was around DiNucci.
That's a half.
But that's just me. I was very wrong.
He's a half foot taller.
And he can move. He can
Yes.
move like DiNucci.
And you know the thing,
he ran a 4.68 at the combine.
That's pretty good when you're 6'6".
That's faster than me.
Yep.
No, come on.
What do you run? What do you run at Grambling's Pro Day?
They had me. Well, see, first of all, let's clarify some things. Grambling has no grass or turf. We had sand, okay? Red dirt and sand. So they said I ran a 4.74, and I felt good about that until they told me what the number was. I think probably my best 40 on the reel was probably a 4.6, as far as being timed. Now, on the field, there's a whole different thing, but timed is by the 4.6.
That was the problem with Jerry Rice when he ran his 40 at Mississippi Valley State. No grass, probably.
We don't have the greatest facilities,
Yes,
man.
yeah.
Come on.
They're not running on.
We got red dirt all over the place.
They're not running on turf inside, right, in a sterile atmosphere.
So they probably measured it off wrong.
We have to go out to the pavement. That's what.
Everson, you probably ran 42 yards instead of 40.
Probably, yeah. That's the scouts' fault. They measure.
So, I was trying to remember if it was McCarthy or Quinn. Oh, I think it was Quinn talking about Herbert, and he said that he's very mobile, and when he gets outside the pocket, he's not getting outside the pocket to run. He keeps his eyes down the field, and he's looking to throw the ball. So he's basically extending plays, and he said, there's two parts to this. If he's in the pocket, you can count 1, 2, 3. You hope the ball's out. But when he starts to move, you may have to play that play for 7 seconds. You got to stay with your receivers because he doesn't really want to run. If he has to, he will, but he wants to throw the ball down the field.
And he did run.
Let's face it, guys.
Go ahead, Everson.
When you start talking about the quarterbacks that we're going up against this year, Justin Herbert is just as typical as the ones we're going to see all season for the most part. Everybody's throwing for over 300 yards. You just might as well get ready for that. It's going to be a pass-happy year, more so now than ever, I believe, especially from what we've seen this past weekend. And the other thing is you've got a secondary that you have to depend on to still make plays. You're going to give them up. But the only thing that's going to stop these 300-yard passers is you have to offset those big plays that they're going to have offensively with turnovers of your own. We showed that in this last game. It kept us in the game, and it's going to have to keep us in every game this season because the yards are going to come. That's okay. That's the league now. Don't worry about that. Make sure you don't get frustrated, and you got to get yours.
Exactly. And to echo what you just said, so I just counted it up, 11 quarterbacks this first week threw for at least 300 yards, 11 of them. And as we said yesterday, 16 teams scored 27 points or more. So in this league, it's a passing league. I bet all these other teams aren't sitting there asking their head coach about balance, right? You think anybody asked John Gruden about balance because Carr threw for 435 yards? Coach, don't you need some balance? Balance this.
Mickey, when we come back here on Mixed Shots, I want you to have the number of how many quarterbacks threw the ball 45 or more times this in week 1 of the season. Have that number for us when we come back on Mixed Shots in just a moment.
At Smoothie King, we are blending goodness to fuel your greatness. Every blend is crafted to help you achieve your health and fitness goals. Smoothie King uses only whole fruits and organic veggies. You'll never find sugary syrups or artificial flavors, colors, or preservatives. And unlike some other smoothie places, there are 0 grams of added sugar in many of our blends. Smoothie King is proud to be the official smoothie of the Dallas Cowboys. Place your order in the app or online for pickup or delivery. Smoothie King, rule the day.
Hey, Cowboys fans, ready to spice up your next watch party? Bring Yo Quiero guacamole and be the game day hero. Yo Quiero means I want, and we know you want great, fresh-tasting, ready-to-serve guacamole for your home gating and tailgating events. Made with real avocados and the perfect blend of spices, it will be the star of any party. You can find us at your local Albertsons or Tom Thumb in the deli section. If you can't find it, talk to your store manager and tell them, yo quiero guacamole.
The Cowboys way, where 16 Hall of Famers and 5 championships shows us what success looks like. Where turkey is always the second best part of Thanksgiving Day. Where we are all defined by one single thing, the star. Where we as fans know it's our job to keep the tradition going. Bank of America is proud to be the official bank of the Dallas Cowboys and to support the quest of living life the Cowboys way. Copyright 2020, Bank of America Corporation.
Hi, I'm Clint Tillison with United Ag and Turf. Before you can park yourself in front of the game, park yourself in a John Deere and power through your chores. Our Land Run package is a 1025R, 25 horsepower tractor with a loader, rotary cutter, and a box blade for $229 a month. And the price you see is the price you'll pay, no surprises. So don't miss another kickoff.
Visit UnitedAgAndTurf.com. Offer ends February 1st, 2021. Restrictions apply. See dealer for details.
Now let's get to work.
Back to Mick Shots.
I said I had the rated. I realized it.
You
I'm
just
on the
have to turn the page.
I'm on the wrong day. All right. So I'm going to go with Wednesday. Does your Cowboys fandom go beyond the game? The NFL Fan of the Year contest, presented by Captain Morgan, is back, and we're relaunching the search for one extraordinary Cowboys fan who's a positive influence and inspires others through their love of the game. Nominate yourself or others for the chance to win a trip to Super Bowl 56 in Los Angeles. Nominate today at DallasCowboys.com/fan of the year. And here's a bonus read for you, Mickey. Cowboys Nation, it's football season, and that means it's time for all new gear. Just head to the Pro Shop, your official store of Cowboys Nation, and score classics like your favorite player jerseys, tees, and hats, plus exclusive collections and unique accessories. The Pro Shop has more Cowboys gear than anyone in the game. Visit your local Dallas Cowboys Pro Shop or online at shop.dallascowboys.com.
I should have told you there was a 2-page deal right there. And the second read
after the first break,
today,
I read Miller Lighthouse, and then I just realized, that was for Tuesday. So I had to double up for Wednesday.
See, they tried to make us versatile now.
That's right.
We got different reads for every day of the week.
That's right.
All right.
So there you go.
I'll make sure I circle them. Okay, I did my homework assignment that Bill Jones gave me, which was...
How many quarterbacks in the National Football League in Week 1 threw 45 or more passes?
Oh, I thought you asked for 40.
Well, we can go 40.
Let me give you 40.
Okay.
8. Okay. And of those 8, 6 of them threw 50 or more.
Okay, my question then was how many threw 50 or more?
Yeah.
Now,
6.
Herbert threw 47
in
a winning performance.
And I also looked up how many that can't be right because, you know what? The ones that threw 40 or more,
you got
it was 47 or more.
Okay.
There was a 47, 49, and the other ones were 50.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Which was my point, 45 or more. So 47 or more, there were 8 quarterbacks. Can you read them off for me?
I can. You want 47 or more?
47 or more, yeah.
So 49, Kirk Cousins.
Okay, they lost in overtime.
Right.
0-1.
Trying to catch up. Prescott, 58.
Lost a close game, 2-point game, 0-2.
Brady, 50.
They won, so that's 1-2.
Goff, 57. 57 for Goff?
They came back. They were down 41-16, came back, made it. So that's 1-3.
Carr, 56.
They won a close game, 2-3.
Herbert, 47.
They won a close game, 3-3.
Allen, Buffalo.
Buffalo got beat by Pittsburgh, 3-4.
And then, where's Brady? Brady was 50.
Yeah, you
right?
said
I did say Brady. And then Lawrence, Jacksonville, 51.
Okay, so they were 3-5.
Yeah,
the quarterbacks who threw that many. My point on that was, I think what we're finding here, and Everson talked about it earlier in the show, and you've talked about it too, and some of this is fairly obvious, just the way the game has evolved, but it even seems like it's evolving even more towards throwing the football. It's in the DNA of so many offensive coordinators in this league to throw the ball, and with the talent on hand and the abilities that, I mean, you just look at the draft every year and how many receivers there are in the draft that the college game is producing. It's just more and more. It's a pass-happy league.
And we only have 5 players who rushed for at least 100 yards. Just 5. So Harris, New England?
Damian Harris did?
Is that Damian Harris? Okay.
He also fumbled. A costly fumble.
Gordon for Denver.
Melvin Gordon, he had a 70-yard run that got him
101. So, yeah. So he has 11 carries for 101.
And went for 70.
He had 70, so he had 10 carries for 31.
And then a 70-yarder.
Yeah. Mitchell, San Francisco.
Elijah Mitchell. I liked him. He's a rookie out of La Tech, I think, or one of the Louisiana schools. I really liked him coming out in the draft.
104 yards. Montgomery, Chicago.
And one of the reasons that he rushed for so much, Mitchell did, is they lost Mostert in that game.
Right, they did. And then they got off to a pretty big lead, didn't they? If I remember correctly.
They did.
So they're probably grinding at the end.
Yep.
Montgomery, 16 carries, 108 for the Bears. And Mixon in overtime, Cincinnati, and that went all the way 10 minutes of overtime, if I remember. 29 carries for 127 yards. So the guy that had the best, per carry average ended up being Gordon at Denver, 9.2, but it was one run. So, yeah. So it wasn't like people were just grinding away running the football.
But I do think, and Parcells talked about this a lot, to wait until you get into November and December and you get bad weather and so forth, and teams will run it more. I think every year in September there's going to be more throwing that's going on, and the game dictates it a lot. But I thought what was remarkable about the Cowboys-Tampa Bay game and what the Cowboys did, it wasn't like they came to the line of scrimmage and said, we're going to throw it 58 times.
Right.
It is they saw what the defense was giving them, basically, and Dak took what the defense was giving them.
The other thing, I'm trying to see the number. Mike threw it out today. He was saying, and some of the runs that we could have had, and this wasn't in reference to what Kellen Moore said yesterday, but he said there was a few RPOs where they could have ran it, but Dak chose to pull it back and throw the ball. So it's like they had those there, and that kind of went up to how many times they ended up running the football.
But all told, you need receiving cores like these teams have, and you need quarterbacks like these teams have. And that's what I love about this matchup, the Cowboys and the Chargers this week, because even though the Cowboys are down Michael Gallup, with Amari Cooper and with CeeDee Lamb and with what the tight ends can do catching the ball, what the running backs can do catching the ball out of the backfield, there's still plenty of weapons for Dak to do what he wants to do in this game.
I think what McCarthy's quote was, if you throw the ball 50 times, but 15 of them are RPOs, so it kind of distorts how many times you actually were calling run plays. They want to run the ball. They want to give Zeke the ball. And I thought I don't remember if I said it yesterday, I thought it was remarkable that even though Zeke they weren't feeding him, he was doing his job, picking up blitzes and blocking in the pass game.
Well, here's the deal, I think, on running the ball, where it factored into that game the other day. Is when you, especially in that circumstance, when Tom Brady is the quarterback on the other side, you have the football in the final 2 minutes. You want to be able to move the chains, to be able to have the football at the end, kicking your field goal to win the game and not allow Tom Brady back on the field. And in order to do that, you have to be able to run the football,
right?
Because the way the defense is going to play you, they're doing everything they can to keep you from getting that first down in the passing game. And if you haven't established the fact that you can run it, then your chances of converting are not great. And you can, just like in the Cowboys case, they had a holding penalty that set them behind the chains. You typically, if you're able to run the ball 3, 4 yards, 5 yards at a clip, you're not going to have penalties, and you're going to be in 3rd and 2 rather than 3rd and 10.
So, and remember, when they got the ball back at 4:52 in the fourth quarter against against Tampa Bay. They're behind, right? So in your mind, you're thinking, okay, we got to go and probably got to score a touchdown. We're not trying to just drain the clock.
But once CD made the play, the 31-yarder that got him into field goal range with 2 minutes. It was the first play of the final 2 minutes, so it was a minute 55 to play at that point. Now you can manage things. Now you need to get that first down. You need for them to use their timeouts, Tampa Bay, and then get your first down where you can now bleed the clock all the way down. And the Cowboys weren't able to do that.
Right, and here's what happened. So the first play, they ran Zeke, right? He got 1 yard. And they're at the 10, so now you got to go 90 yards to try to score a touchdown on that drive, okay? They got to 2nd and 10 at their own 38, and he hits a 23-yard pass to CeeDee Lamb, and the Cowboys get called for holding, that was the one on Tyron Smith that I think they said, Collinsworth said on TV, he goes, whoa, that was kind of picky. So now you're 2nd and 20 at the 26. Well, okay, you pass. They got the 2nd and 10 after they got the first down, the play you were talking about, to CeeDee Lamb, and they ran Zeke for 4 yards.
Okay, they had an incomplete pass first.
Right.
Yeah.
And then they ran Zeke for 4 yards. And then the short pass to Zeke again, no gain, but that's almost like a run. And on that play, they got called for holding, right?
It's Conor Williams.
So now you're 3rd and 16. Well, you're passing, right?
Right.
And unfortunately, they only ended up with 10 yards, and then they had to kick the field goal.
So what I would have liked, once they got to the 34, I would have liked to have run it on first down, and it was an incomplete pass.
So run both those
times,
plays.
yeah. Where if you can, even if you just get 2 yards on first down and you're 2nd and 8, and then if you can get 4 and make it 3rd and 4, and now the defense doesn't know whether you're running it or passing it, because then you're in a position, if you even get it down to 4th and 1, now you can make the decision whether you want to go for it, because they've used their timeouts, whether you want to go for it. And, people had talked about 4th and 6 at the 30. Well, I would have just gone for it anyway, because you knew Brady with a minute 24 left.
Yeah.
But 4th and 1, you can make that decision whether you're going to go for it.
So kind of where it sort of messed up, had they not gotten that holding penalty, right?
Right.
And even though it was no gain, you're at the 30. Now, again, think about this. Your kicker is already missed from 31 and 33. How much faith did you have in him when he lined up for a 48-yard field goal if you're at the 30, right? You're thinking, oh, I better get this closer. And so there was more to think about than just draining the clock. It was like, can I get my kicker if I don't get the first down comfortable?
At that point, when you're 3rd and 16 at the 40, you got to get it to the 30 to try a 48-yard field goal.
And that's where they
were. Is what they did.
They were there until they got the holding penalty.
Right.
So, when you look back at it, you should have ran the ball more and you would have drained more time off the clock. But you needed to kick a field goal, and you needed your field goal kicker to be comfortable. And I don't know that he was comfortable, and that's why a lot of people are sitting there going, 4th and 6, oh, you got to go for it.
And for that matter, at this point in the season, you don't have confidence that you can run the ball down there, okay? Especially against that defense, which was the number one ranked run defense in the league last year. So it matters who you're playing against also. And I also think you see this even with really good offensive lines. Sometimes it takes a month into the season before the run blocking is really clicking for these teams.
And they didn't have these guys all together through all of training camp, right? It was kind of patchwork.
Right.
So and so that was really the first game those 5 played together. And now those 5, they didn't even work together, right? Because Zach Martin was missing.
That's right.
And now they'll have La'el Collins missing. Zach's back. Dak's back.
So you'd have to go back sometime in the 2019 season and you had Travis Frederick then, and so this offensive line has never played together.
Right. This is not your 10-year-old's offensive line.
That's right.
Okay?
All right. That does it for Mick Shots for this Wednesday. And Everson hopefully will be joining us from a remote location again tomorrow. And for Mickey Spagnola, I'm Bill Jones. We'll chat at you again tomorrow at 1:30.
See ya.
This has been a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about this, Cowboys? Yeah!